Yes, good afternoon, all. Let's begin today's session. I welcome you all to ROOBAROO. It's a forum basically for discussion and talk about opportunities in research field with PhD scholars. Okay, this is organized every year by Department of Microbiology and Biotechnology. This is a stage where we literally call in our alumni students who have been with through either their BSc or through their MSc. Okay, we call them here to answer a few questions for us, which brings us closer to what is the demand in industries and what is taught in the universities. So, usme, what is the gap and how to bridge the gap? What are they doing? How did they reach there? How to reach there? And if it's anything that you are, are thinking of pursuing, if it is their expertise, you can get a direct help to, how it is basically done or more information directly from them. We have two very beautiful speakers today. We have Miss Bhavisha and we have Mr. Path here. First, I'll just introduce Mr. Bhavisha Doshi for you. She has completed her MSc in microbiology, sorry, her BSc in microbiology and MSc in bioinformatics. Okay, she's completed both her BSc and MSc with us in Patkar. She has previously worked with institutes, she has worked with corporates, she has been to Enfuse Solutions, she has been to TCS in the past. But currently, she's pursuing her PhD in Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center, which is in the University of Buffalo. And again, the second speaker we have today is Mr. Parth Trivedi. Okay, he's our alumni for BSc in microbiology, and he has received his ICMR Junior Research Fellowship, and he also is currently pursuing his PhD in microbiology with Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. It's a great pleasure to welcome both of you here. Uh, we have you guys here.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
So basically, what we're doing is I have some question for you. Some question, as in we have total 20 questions here. Each of them are either directly, taken from students or from a student perspective. So we'll go through each and every question, and one question I'll say, and then we'll answer this, and then we'll go for next. Okay. So that will be what the session will be. Students who will have doubt will be suggested to ask questions after the session has finished and not in between. And if there is any sort of technical difficulties, please bear with us. We'll try to solve it as soon as possible. Okay.
sure.
Yes. Okay, shall we start, or you want to address the students?
Yeah,
You
it would
can
be.
go forward.
Yeah,
Any one of you can go ahead.
Parth, you can
yeah,
go first.
yeah, sure. So, yeah, hello, good evening, students. As ma'am introduced myself, that I had done my BSc in microbiology at Patkar College, and further which I pursued my MSc in microbiology from Ramnaran Ruya, and then I went ahead to do my PhD at IIT Bombay. So yeah, it has been a great journey, and I will be happy to share my journey with you all. And I hope that I'm able to answer most of your queries that you would have in how to reach the stage at which I am or doing pursuing PhD. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Hello, this is Bhavisha Doshi, and I have my bachelor's in microbiology. Me and Parth were in same cohort, same classrooms, and then I pursued my master further ahead in bioinformatics. Then I worked, as mentioned, that an Enfuse solution in TCS, and now I am currently doing my PhD in cancer science from Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center, University at Buffalo. I'll be like pleased to answer all your questions. If you have any questions regarding how to pursue a PhD internationally or any kind of questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Okay. So we'll start with first question for you guys. If it is okay with your institute, whether to share your work. So if it's okay, the students would like to ask, what are you currently working on?
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my current work aims to determine the genetic and epigenetic mechanisms which lead to gender disparity in the progression and outcome of bladder cancer. So I work specifically on urinary bladder cancer, and to explain gender disparity in simple terms means why in men versus women there is a difference observed. That is basic term for gender disparity. Now we know there are simultaneous new definitions of gender, but I'm focusing on male versus female population and not other genders. So yeah, that's my work.
Yeah, so for me, the current lab thing that I have joined, it focuses on pathogenesis with respect to fungal pathogens. So it is fungal pathogenesis and its host interaction. So we work on two systems. One is plant system and another is human system. So for plant system, it is Magnaporthe oryzae, which is the plant pathogen, which roughly infects 50 varieties of grass species. And similarly, we have a human pathogen, which is Candida, and we basically understand the interspecies interaction that occurs between these pathogens themselves and also along with the host. So it's basically a tripartite interaction that we focus on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do the next one. Yes. Is your current job related to your university major degree?
So I had actually joined a university at Buffalo as a master's in cancer science student, and I was very interested in cancer science throughout my BSc. And further, I wanted to pursue a master's degree, so I came here, and then I got to know that here we have really good PhD opportunity available, and I applied for the same. So right now, I am currently doing my PhD in cancer science, and my work focuses on bladder cancer, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes, Parth?
So yeah, same for me. That definitely it is related to my PhD. So currently I'm doing my PhD in microbiology itself. So the same way I did my, I was basically interested right from the beginning, right from BSc level. I was interested in microbiology, and I'm continuing to doing so, and I'm enjoying myself.
Okay. Um, yes. Next question is how did the college sort of help you in becoming what you are today? How does it contribute?
Um, So I think the biggest contribution of Patkar is encouraging us during our bachelor's to have small group research projects. So we had like formed 3 to 4 students group and we had a mentor assigned. So I was very happy because I had Anu ma'am as my mentor and she always like supported our ideas. She told us to think about new ideas, discuss with her and like make a small good project. And then at that time we had our HOD Dr. Naina Chandak. She made us go and attend various good seminars, which were like national level or state level, and also encourage us to present our posters on our research work. And further, like this was my bachelor's journey, and during my master's, Miss Ruchita ma'am and Vyomesh Javle, who was our professors during bioinformatics, they helped us to come in contact with really good people like HOD of Biotechnology Department of University of Mumbai, then several different doctors. One of them was Dr. Lalit Samant. He was he is actually a doctor in Vadia Hospital. So I was in contact with them. I carried out 2 of my thesis project, and I I had like very good research experience, and this further motivated me to continue and delve into research and do a PhD.
Yes, Parth?
Yeah. So same as Bhavisha mentioned that college matters a lot. So right from the base level, right from the BSc level where you are, it matters a lot that what are you studying, how are you studying, and Patkar has been of a great help because, as Bhavisha mentioned, right from the beginning, we were very much engaged into research or any other kind of state level or national level event happening. We were always encouraged to participate in them. It was not about winning, but it was more about participating. And similarly, as Bhavisha mentioned, because of Partner College, I got an opportunity to present my small research in Avishkar Research Convention, for which we got selected till the district level, and everyone was very much supportive. And not only just our department, it was also interdepartment support that we got right from zoology department to microbiology department and even biotechnology department. Further, when I went to masters college also helped me a lot because we had a small kind of a internship based project where we were allowed to do our internship in a proper research institute, from where I got to know about my PhD guide. And then I went ahead to pursue PhD under him. So yeah, college helps a lot in what you are today. So yeah, basically.
Okay, so let's go for next question. Now, when you like go to the actual field and study and work, whether it's a corporate or an industry, do you think there's a gap between what is taught like in the colleges and what the industry demands in terms of knowledge or in terms of training or in terms of hands-on experience? Do you think there is a gap, and how big is it?
Um, I have been in corporate as well, so I would say there is definitely a gap. And like, I don't think it is easy to fill that gap because every position in the company demands different kind of skills. But the basic soft skills which you gain from college, like presenting your work or just giving normal presentations in college, talking with your teachers, having a good vocabulary, having a good writing skills, that all matters a lot because in corporate worlds, how you speak with people, how formal your speech is matters apart from what you do because your work will depend on what your position is in the company, and based on company to company the work differs although if the position is same. So at least we can't know what work we will do right from college level, but we can do develop good soft skills from college, and which I have developed. Yeah.
Yes, but
Yeah, so I currently do not have any industrial exposure, but yeah, as Bhavisha mentioned that definitely there is a gap which needs to be filled, and college helps to fill that gap a lot. And so because of which the colleges have been modulating their syllabi just to make sure that you are industry ready when you pass out from the colleges. So having that kind of courses will definitely help bridge that gap between the college to industry.
yes, very correct. Um, yeah. Now that was the next question, basically. That how is it when you go in the industry, like when you feel that there is a gap? So is it easy to fill it, as in, uh, when you go there, is it too hard to 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 cope up with what is actually going on in the industry, or
um,
what is there in your lab, as in new technology or instrumentation? Is it hard to cope up? This you have not done hands on, or this आपको ये आपको आता नहीं है, ये आपको करने नहीं आता, or you've never done this before, something like that.
I won't say it's very hard, but yeah, you need to put some efforts, obviously, because if you haven't done that work like ever, so you need to read about it, or if it's some kind of work like in my job in TCS, I was a senior process associate, which basically I had to do medical coding and stuff, which we didn't had any kind of course in our bachelor's or master's, but we did had some topics about clinical trials and all, which I had learned the basic theory of it in our college. So I had that kind of knowledge. And yeah, later you learn things while you work, and learning is like the entire life process. You will always keep on learning new things, and it would be like difficult to learn everything in our 5 years of studying bachelor's and masters. But it's not definitely very hard if you are like encouraged enough, and if you want to work, you will definitely learn it very easily, like not that easily but easily comparatively. Yeah.
Yes, pa.
Yeah, it's kind of a very individual thing because at college will help you till a certain point, after which you need to fulfill the requirements of the place where you're going to work. So it's basically based on individual that whether if he is very much interested, he will definitely find a way. But yeah, finding a way is important. So for example, if you attend certain seminars which is out of your course or out of your academics, it will definitely help you in future because you never know, attending a conference or attending a seminar based on your interest will help you get into your interested industry or research area. So it depends on individual as well that how does he want to bridge the gap.
Yes, very correct. Um, yes. What was your first project into the industry, or first project when you just landed, outside the college and then out into the world?
Okay, so like I had a very small internship with Infuse, because at that time I just passed out my college and it was a COVID year, so finding the jobs were very difficult. And so that was like I think 15 to 20 days project, which was just proctoring. It was online proctoring the students who give exams. So that was sort of my first project, which was very fun and interesting. Yeah, but if I say if my main project was like in TCS working with Moderna vaccine. So we used to get patient data about what are the effects of vaccine on them, and then we used to like manage those data and everything.
Okay. Yes, Parth?
So I won't be able to add much because I haven't been into industry. Uh, but yeah, I have seen Bhavisha and other guys from my batch trying to get into industry, which was a very much hard thing because of the COVID situations. So yeah, I have seen them doing a lot of hard work.
Okay. Um, yes, can you share your suggestions on understanding the route map from college to your own experience from that is your journey from college to landing, to in a PhD program or landing any, uh, any fellowship or as such?
But you can go first.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the journey was, I would say, quite interesting because we tend to get failures when you are on this journey of pursuing a higher education program or getting into industry. So yeah, the journey was quite tricky, but then it's a learning experience. So right from the BSc, you are getting aware of the situation that currently it is in our country, in our state or somewhere. So on reaching the master's level, you decide that what you are interested into, and then it starts making sense that what do you want to study and how are you going to pursue it. So that route map is quite interesting because you trying to manage your things on your own, which you never thought you would. So right after MSc, you start searching for things that you are interested. For example, if you want to go abroad, you will start searching for the universities that offer the courses of your interest, pursuing projects of your interest, and then you try to see what are the essential requirements or eligibility criteria for that, and you start fulfilling them on your own. So if it requires a certain kind of fellowship support from the government, so you start giving or preparing about those exams and trying to clear them out so that it gets easy for you to get into those universities. And then once you start having those fellowship kind of support, and then you start searching for the suitable labs for where you want to work or where you want to pursue your PhD. So that journey is also a very difficult thing because you are going to spend the 5 years of your life over there. So choosing your guide matters a lot. So certainly you start doing things on your own, and you basically want to get the best out of it. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
Bhavisha.
as Parth mentioned, it is not a easy way. Like there is no direct route. Like okay, you have to do this, this, this. You will eventually find out what you are interested in because for example, in bachelor's, your interest would be some other thing, and while you pursue your masters, you might be intrigued with some other topic and further want to like join some other thing. So like I have industrial experience, so I just took that experience to make sure that okay, I'm just focused on research. I wanted to just try, and after trying that I was like okay, I am much more of a research kind of a person. I would It would be difficult for me to do the regular 9 to 5 jobs and such. So it's good to have good to deviate a bit and take different exposures to finally recognize your final goal. And every person would have their different kind of route maps as explained by Parth. There is no straightforward single line journey. It depends eventually like ahead in your life what you want to pursue and how you want to pursue and what is your timeline for the same. And yeah, doing a PhD, it's not an easy decision to go with because you have to give a lot of time and energy, and you have to be very focused and encouraged throughout your program because it's a 5 years course. It's yeah. So as Parth mentioned, it's not a single way route.
So I
Yes.
would just like to add 2 points. So Bhavisha is a best example of what you can do is explore your way. So you try to explore industry as well as academia. Then you figure out what are you up to, what are you interested in. So she is one of the perfect example of that. And another thing is that on with respect to choosing the field, it is more sort of an analogy that I try to give is about affection and love. So at the BSc and MSc level, it is more of affections that you, because you have more than one affections towards various fields, but then going ahead and realizing that what you're interested in, that makes the love for your subject.
Yes, yes. Very correct. It is very difficult since it is so vast and you have so much to choose from. Coming down to one topic is very hard. Okay, so let's go for the next question is why did you choose to pursue PhD? What is in your life? What's a goal for you that you had to do PhD?
So this is a very tricky question to answer because it is people who choose to pursue PhD, they always have this one common answer to this, that they were just basically interested in doing science. So
Hmm.
they love and they enjoy doing science, which is why they went ahead to pursue PhD. So as I mentioned before, that it's not an easy route because you're going to spend a lot of amount of time of your precious life. It is basically the teenage, what not teenage years, but then your youth period of your life you are spending inside a lab working on a project and studying ahead. So it is not a easy job, but if you enjoy and if you are really interested, you definitely would want to take that opportunity, make that amount of time of your life valuable, and because you know that what stands ahead when you pass out with that precious degree of getting a doctoral degree. So it is basically more sort of an individual affection and love towards doing science and enjoying the same.
Yeah, I would agree with Parth on this because 5 years being dedicated to one particular topic, it's not easy. You will face many failures. Your experiments will fail numerous times, and it is challenging because you get upset when you want certain results, you don't get that results. But if you are motivated enough, if you know what your goal is, what you want to do, if you love your research, then you will definitely give those 5 years, more than 5 years actually, because after PhD the research life doesn't end, it just begins with the PhD. So yeah, I basically loved doing research. I used to ask and literally annoy all of my teachers with n number of questions. Part knows that, and they
Yes.
were very patient answering those. And yeah, you should be interested in the field, and you have to motivate and encourage yourself, and you should have networking and company around yourself in such a way that they will motivate you and boost you and promote you. Your parents would support you, your friends would support you, your environment should be good, you yourself should be feeling encouraged and positive about it, and yeah, definitely you can do a PhD then.
Yeah, the support thing matters a lot because having a kind of background that we have in India is that people will start asking you how much do you earn. So
Yeah.
it is always basically up to what are you living. So being taking PhD as a job basically will also lead you such kind of question that people will start judging you that you are not still earning, because people or friends from your age group would be joining companies after their engineering program and they would be earning in lakhs, but being a PhD student you would not earn that much. But then what keeps you motivated is your personal motivation and your support from your parents and family. That will matter a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what is the basic outline of a PhD program in general?
So I'll try to answer with respect to PhD program here in India, and maybe Bhavisha would be able to explain a bit better with respect to foreign PhDs. So in India, the basic outline is that you need to have a master's degree, which is the basic minimum qualification that you require for pursuing a PhD. After which, it depends on different universities for which you apply for the PhD, because some of them require external fellowship support for yourself. For example, there are government fellowships, for example, UGC, CSIR, ICMR, DBT. So these programs give you fellowships for your PhD, and this is one of the important criteria for certain universities because it acts as a additional exam or qualifying exam for you to get into PhD. Once you clear these kind of hurdles or the entrance exams that you have for PhD, then you get into university where you have a basic flow where you have a step one, step two, step three, which is nothing but writing your SOP, going for an interview, and then choosing your own lab. So these are the basic things that lies with respect to doing PhD in India.
Okay, so regarding the PhD internationally, I would say about US, not internationally, because I'm in US currently and I know the situation over here. So you should have good research experience. That matters a lot. It's okay if you don't have research publications yet, because here you can pursue a PhD after completing your 4 years of bachelor's. You can't have your 3 years bachelor's. If you have 3 years bachelor's, then you need to have a master's. But if you have a 4 year degree like BTech or something, you can definitely pursue after your bachelor's, your PhD. Um, SOP matters a lot. SOP is something which should be very well written because it describes your life journey. So that is one thing. And when you start your program, I'll just give you the basic outline of how my program is designed. So during your first year, you will like in the first semester, you will go and talk with n number of professors in your college. You will have like my college has like around 120 professors who I can go and talk around. I have to interview them basically to ask that, okay, how is your lab working? Who are working in your lab? How much funding do you have? Because PhD here in US is fully funded. You join the course, you don't need to pay any fees or anything, and they will pay you stipend, and you don't need to have any kind of external funding or anything else. It is funded by your professor for you and your college. So yeah, you have to go and talk with all the professors who you are interested in. Then during your second semester, you have to choose three of the professors, work in each of the professors' lab for at least 2 months. And after completing your first year, you have to finally choose a lab you are interested in, and you have to start working in that lab. And during that, you have to take advanced level courses and some courses like grantsmanship and stuff, which will teach you how to write proposals, research proposals. Because after completing your second year, you have to give your preliminary exam, which will make you a PhD student. And that preliminary exam is basically submitting the proposals, the research proposals, your research ideas, and as well as it depends then on college to college. Here we have two systems: either you present your work, or either you come up with a brand new topic which is not related to your work, which is very different from what you have done, but you have to come up with the project. You can get data from online. You have to work with that data, you have to analyze that data and make a really good research proposal. You have to present that, and your second, if you present it successfully, your second year is done. Then in next 3 years, you are continuing with your project, and every 6 months you have to have a committee meeting. Here you sort of have a committee, you don't have a single professor. You have one professor who is your basic mentor, and apart from there, you have three other co-mentors with whom you have to discuss your project every 6 months. They will give you feedback, and which is the most important thing. And you have to present and give seminars every once or twice in 6 months in this 3 year span. And finally, the best thing is the defense, which you will give after 5 years, which is the best moment of your life, because you will present that work to everyone and you will get your degree. Yeah.
Okay. It's such a long journey, and it makes you think that, after doing all of this, when you get that PhD, it must be a beautiful feeling, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is a very common misconception within the students always, and if this comes from you guys, it is it is good. So the question is the PhD programs and a master research program the same thing?
So yeah, there are a lot of things that we also get the questions that are the both related or not. But yes, definitely they are not related. They are very different because the purpose of both of these programs is completely different. The master's research programs and PhD research programs are different in their own way because with the PhD research programs, it is more sort of a novel project that you are working on, whereas in case of master's research program, it is basically advancing your knowledge about that field, or advancing your knowledge about that subject. And it is also, I would like to add a master's in philosophy also here, because MPhil and PhD are also the two things which are very much confused together. So MPhil is a sort of a advanced master's research program where you basically try to advance more of that knowledge and try to gain more information about that. But the what discriminates PhD from both of these things is the novelty. So in case of PhD, you really need to have a novel thing or a novel knowledge gap that you're addressing to, and that what makes PhD different from master's research program and MPhil programs.
Uh, in US, you can say masters and PhD differs in a way that here we do have novel ideas for our master thesis as well. You don't like enhance a particular topic. You have to have a very good research idea, but that is not designed by you completely. It is done with the help of your mentor. In PhD, it is designed by you completely. Your PhD mentor will support you and say whether it is right path or not, but you have to design and think about your project on your own. They make you an independent researcher. Master's research don't make you an independent researcher. It gives you a taste of research, that what is research, and further, are you interested in designing your own whole thesis or own big experiments? Yeah. So that's the major difference.
Oh, yes, beautiful put. Okay. Now, how could one improve their SOP for getting admitted in the PhD program?
Frankly speaking, SOPs will completely depend on for what you are applying for, because the main thing is in the word itself. It is statement of purpose, and the key thing there is the purpose. The highlighting word should be the purpose. Basically, when you write an SOP for getting into any kind of program, they will specifically look at why do you want to join that. That's the meaning of the word purpose. So you really need to highlight that point in your SOP, and that will work out the best for you. So writing an SOP is a tricky thing, because I know there are a lot of students who like to add everything that they want to do in their SOPs. But then the two things that are very much essential for SOP is, with respect to PhD, there are two important things. First is your uh, topic or your statement that you are writing, is it worthwhile? Is it worthy of a PhD? And second important thing is its affordability and accessibility. So with respect to novelty, the answer to the first point, that is your PhD worth, or is your topic worth doing for a PhD? Because you have to find that knowledge gap that lies between the research question that you're answering. So that only comes when you do a thorough literature survey about the topic, and then you will get to know that what is the knowledge gap that you're trying to answer, and that will determine your novelty, and it will tick out the first point that yes, the study is worth considering for a PhD program. Second is the accessibility and affordability. That is very much important, because if you say that I want to study the whole solar system, yes, it is an important topic, but then is it accessibility, with respect to accessibility and affordability? No, it's not. So you need to be ambitious, but you need to be careful about your ambitions that you're trying to achieve. So you cannot do everything in a 5-year PhD program. So there should be some point at which you want to study, and there should be a purpose behind that study, and whether you are able to do that in that 5-year PhD program. And the most important thing is the funding. The place where you are applying for example, if you are applying to IIT, you should know that what IIT holds, what are the resources that IIT has, and whether these resources are sufficient enough for you to pursue that topic in your PhD or not. So that is all the key requirements that an SOP should have, because that will make you stand out from the other statements that other students give. So yeah, basically it's these two things.
Okay, like my answer for SOP is quite different, because here the meaning of SOP is not your research proposal or grant proposal. Here we have separate things for external funding, research proposals, and grant proposals. For us, SOP is basically if you want to do a particular program, it is a personalized thing. So if you are, for example, applying in cancer, like I applied, so if I'm applying for cancer at Roswell, so why Roswell should be the main thing and why cancer? if you're applying for any other college, but along with cancer, so it should be directed towards that particular university and why you are dedicating towards that university. And according to the SOP which we have to write, it should be a story about what have you done, what you want to do, and how will you pursue it. It shouldn't depict your CV, which is curriculum vitae, which will like have everything, what you have, like which degrees you have, what CGPA you have. It shouldn't include those things. It should basically be a story which depicts that you are highly motivated person, you are encouraged enough, and you want to pursue a PhD. You are dedicated enough, and you will be dedicated for next 5 years to do a PhD. You won't be someone who will drop out of the program in 1 or 2 years, because it is fully funded program and they are dedicating so much amount of funds on you. So yeah, they will choose based on what you write, and this is the most important aspect to get into a PhD.
Okay, thank you. Yes, which exams students can give if they want to do PhD?
So yeah, again in India there are certain national entrance tests which are conducted by UGC, CSIR, DBT, ICMR. So these GATE, and these are the national entrance tests which are accepted all around the India, and there are some specific to universities. For example, Pune University has their own entrance test. Mumbai University has their own entrance test, which is PET, and such kind of things are the entrance tests that you need to clear to get into a PhD program. And then further, the things remain the same. That depends on the university. What are the qualifications that you would require?
As far as it's concerned, doing it internationally, you will need to give either TOEFL or IELTS, which are the basic English test. GRE is now not necessary. It is very rarely required as a mandatory thing for any university. But TOEFL and IELTS are the major exams which you have to clear with really good scores, with flying colors, let me tell you. And you will definitely just need this. And other all things are basically what you have achieved till now in your life, all your CGPAs, your SOPs, your LORs, etc. They are the important aspect to get into PhD rather than any other exam.
Mhm. So it is basically you submit whatever university you like, you submit your SOP,
Yeah,
and then there is a choosing process.
right.
Okay. And Pat, what about for IIT Bombay?
So with respect to IIT Bombay, you have two options. That if you clear a national entrance test, you are definitely eligible to apply for the PhD program.
Okay.
And if not, then you need to qualify the GATE exam, which IITs conduct, which is
Mm-hmm.
for both biological science as well as for engineering. So for doing PhD into biological science with in IIT Bombay, you need to clear that GATE with a very good score, and then you are eligible to get into PhD program.
Okay. Is there a selection mode, as in, after you finish your gate, is there selection for that?
Yeah. So as I mentioned that a GATE is just an entrance exam. You get a GATE open for IIT Bombay, you get selected, but then everything depends upon your
School.
SOP, your
Mm-hmm.
research proposal that you give, and the interview process, which is a very rigorous process. And you, if you clear that, you get the PhD.
Okay. Okay. Um, yes. What are your personal difficulties, or what is that you faced when you are pursuing your PhD programs?
So I'm currently unfortunately experiencing this difficulty that I have recently fractured my hand, which is my right hand, and so I'm not able to work in my lab, not able to do the wet lab experiments. So one thing that PhD program or PhD will ask you is how, uh, if you can say in right terms, that how are you able to tackle the hurdles that you get into lives. So
Mm.
these difficulties definitely are going to face, because it is a mix of success and failure that you are going to encounter during your PhD program. There would be instances where you are so much depressed because you are not getting your results, your work is not moving ahead. There is a pressure of you submitting your annual progress report. There is a pressure over giving your progress report to the fellowship programs that you have passed on. So you have n number of difficulties where you encounter your PhD, but then what matters is the dedication and the free mind, because if you face a difficulty you should be able to find an opportunity in that difficulty, and how are you going to uh, make it advantageous to yourself. So currently an example is that I'm not able to do my wet lab experiments, so what I do is I try to do it with using bioinformatics. How can I contribute to my project with respect to dry lab techniques and writing reports, writing proposals. So this is how I invest my time. So it is how you look at the difficulty, and finding the right advantage in that difficulty is important in your PhD. And just stay motivated, because this is what you got. This is why you get into PhD. So it is mostly about enjoying that.
Yeah. So, like as mentioned by Parth, it is all about success and failures. You will fail your experiments like not once or twice, literally 5 times you will fail, and you will be like, things are not working out. What should I do? But you need to figure out why the experiments are failing, because it's not always human error. There's some or the other issues. There is issue with the chemicals or the machines you are utilizing, or maybe the design which you have made, or some or the other thing. So you need to sit and analyze why the things are not going in a right way. And also a major thing in PhD is, if one of the concept is not working out, don't get too attached to it that you can't leave it and progress further. You need to leave certain things away and progress in different direction. If it doesn't work out, you shouldn't be stubborn that okay, this was the thing which I wanted to do and I will just progress with that, like, because you won't get that much amount of funding. Your professor will be pissed off with you. They would be like, it's not working, just like leave that and move ahead. Think about a very good better idea and think about something else. So you should love your project, but still you should have that thing that if at a point you need to do some changes, you should be okay doing that. So yeah, failures are the part of doing PhD, that's for sure.
You need
Yes,
to
correct.
be willing to accept that failure and move ahead, because
Mm,
accept and keeping your ego aside that what you designed is not working is a very hard pill to swallow. So yeah.
yes, correct. Patient is also an important skill set
Yes.
when it comes to research. So, uh, the again a very common questions where students are confused here. The question is PhD pursued only for research purposes?
Yeah, and definitely not. It's not just for research purpose, because once you do your PhD, you are eligible to work outside academia. So you apply to industries, because industries do need some specialized persons for some kind of things. For example, if you do a PhD and then you want to explore industrial area, you basically work as a scientist over there and helping in designing the R&D team. So you'll be heading the R&D team of that company, and you contribute in that way. So it is not only staying in academia, it has a whole completely different life outside academia, where definitely you have a very good chance in getting into industries and still doing research, because there are certain pharma companies, they have their own R&D team. So just the environment that you get in a institute where you do your PhD, you do your research, the same environment you get into the industries as well, where you do your research, but that research is completely different because it aims towards something product making, or getting applied your basic research into applied things. For example, formulation, or making a new project out of it, or making a new drug molecule out of it. So it is not only research academia, but definitely industry holds a very big scope after PhD.
And I would like to add that just not only industry, you have like n number of options after you complete your PhD. Like if you are a very good writer, you have good writing skills, you can go and be a part of journal editor, where you literally critically analyze all the literature, all the research which has been given by scientists or to be scientists like us, and they will critically analyze and they will review it, and further you can submit it or not. Like you can talk with me like for literally 1 or 2 couple of hours, how many different options you have apart from industry and academia, because you're at least internationally. I don't know about India, like how much you have right now, because I haven't like been in that situation, but here you have multiple things which you can go and like pursue, because while doing your PhD you will attend various multinational, sorry, not multinational, international conferences, where you will network with people of different kind of um, background, where you can form connections and where you will explore, okay, what other things which I can do apart from joining industry or apart from continuing in academia. But let me tell you, working in academia is rewarding because you will have your own lab, you will have your research papers on your own name, although you might earn a bit less compared to the industrial people, but it's very rewarding. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Next is what is your personal plan or what are your goals after you finish your PhD?
So for me, I am completely academia oriented person because I just love being into research. So my plan ahead is definitely doing a postdoc in a good institute, and after which I plan to set up my own lab, have my own research group, and just enjoy doing science and contributing science in a better way.
Yeah, as far as I am concerned, I am interested in exploring industrial area as well. So I am planning to do at least 1 or 2 year postdoc in industry, then come back to academia. So I would have that knowledge which I can apply in academia, because there are certain things which are still not filled in academia. So you would have good experience in industry, how things work out, how do they propose their grants and everything, so that it's not like they are just getting funding through one person, because though they also go and propose it to various different industrialists to get grants, and also that is a very good experience to be part of such team and then come to academia with such skills and get really good grants and fundings for the things which you desire to work on.
Yeah, even I agree with Bhavisha because having a translational knowledge of how you apply your fundamental research into an applied research is very much important, and you definitely get that exposure once you join an industry doing your postdoc, and getting that kind of knowledge will really help you in framing your fundamental topics into an applied topic. Yeah.
Yes. Now, what is the benefit of getting a doctoral degree over master's degree?
There's not such any kind of a good answer to this because it again comes down on your interest in doing so. But with respect to monetary benefits, definitely you'll be getting a much higher pay than the master student. So the degree holds its value in every way, be it monetary or being it with respect to getting respect into the scientific world. So, frankly, there are lot of students who do doctor degree just to get the doctor degree.
Doctor, yeah.
Doctorate is very much important because it gives you a kind of a respect into in the world, and there are personal benefits as well to this. So there is no what you can say harm in accepting the fact that you did your doctoral degree just for getting that doctorate kind of thing. So yeah, there are students who pursue doctoral degree for that, and one good example is doing because of the monetary benefits that you take.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so like as Parth mentioned, it is you earn definitely well compared to master student, and yeah, you can like definitely in society you would have a good stand that you are a scientist. You can say I am a scientist rather than saying I'm a doctor. You can say I'm a scientist. I design stuff, I research, I discover stuff. You can say, and apart from that, I would like to add that you can actually say people. You can Google my name and you can get a paper that I have published a paper. You can just Google me, like in that sense. After completing masters, if you go directly in an industry or somewhere, it's very difficult to get into good positions because you won't have that kind of experience. PhD is basically personality development, not just only how you do your research, but how you present your research, how you make people understand what you are doing. That is the goal of PhD. While in masters, it's just 1 or 2 years training, so you don't have that much of a personality development thing. So yeah, like there are n number of benefits of doing a doctoral degree over the master's degree, definitely.
You'll get that skill of selling yourself
Yeah,
in a
true.
better way because doctoral degree is also about that how you present yourself and how you sell your topic.
Yeah,
PhD teaches you very well about that.
yeah, true.
Yes, very correct. Now, what things should we consider by selecting an institute to apply for PhD?
This is a very important point while pursuing a PhD because This will definitely shape your PhD a lot. I'll tell you my personal experience of choosing this institute to apply. First and foremost, it is a very prestigious institute. Getting a tag of IITN is a very is something of valuable. Another apart from this, the procedure or what one should look after while selecting an institute is whether that institute holds your choice of research area very well or not. So, if you are interested in cancer science, your institute should have some professors who are very much experienced in that field. So, having such kind of experienced professors and scientists around you will help you in your PhD project, apart from your guide, because connecting with different people will give you different angles to explore in your PhD project, and that will help you. Another thing is while selecting an institute is whether it is economically and affordably feasible to you, because in India, where most of the people would have to travel to different states for pursuing that PhD, because there are some renowned institutes. For example, if it is not in Mumbai, you have to go to Bangalore at IIC Bangalore. There is GNCSR Bangalore. You have to go to IIT Madras. You have to travel in number of states. So how easy for you will be to go over that state, study for your PhD program, leaving your family in your own state. So it is definitely all this matters a lot, because there you are going to be alone by yourself. So you need to be constantly motivated, because you won't have your family members besides you to encourage you. And another what important thing is with respect to research is that whether this institute is going to help you maximally in your PhD or not, because having those set of instruments, those set of facilities that you would require for your PhD project, are these facilities there in the institute or not. So this will matter a lot, because then you won't get such grants, travel grants, like all over your PhD, that you would go for a particular experiment to another institute to do that. So yeah, that all these things are really important while you choose the institute.
Yeah, so as Parth mentioned, it depends on whether your department is good enough or not. So, like, let me give you an example. Like, for example, I want to pursue cancer science. Stanford is a very good name, right? But Princeton, Stanford, and all. But I should know how many labs it has which are doing cancer science. Like, I know in Princeton there is like only one or two professors who do cancer science. So, going over there won't make sense for me because I want to focus on cancer science and I just have two options to explore. I can't have wide variety that I can explore. So just not going behind Ivy Leagues or behind the recognized college, you should see if your department is recognized enough and you have that much number of facilities as mentioned by Parth. So let me tell you about like my college, Roswell. So Roswell is basically a comprehensive cancer center, which means you have a hospital plus research center. So here we have like five different departments in cancer itself, and in each department you have like 20 to 30 different professors, so you have wide variety of choices. And you can go in genetics, you can go in immunology, you can go in cell stress, you can go in therapeutics, you can go and work on n number of things, and then you can collaborate with people. And as I said, it is a comprehensive cancer center, so you get directly to work with patient sample, and whatever research you do is directly being applied on patient itself. We run clinical trials, so it's like bed to bench work or bench to bed kind of research, where whatever you are doing is directly applying to the patients and you can just see across the street. So when your research is being applied to patient and their life increases just even by 1 year, it is a very big achievement, and that is the biggest motivation you can have. So there are I think 50 different comprehensive cancer centers in US where they have research centers and hospital. And this is not only applied to cancer science. There are various different comprehensive centers where you have this kind of settings, where you have the research center plus the hospitals, where you can work along with patients and patient samples. So it depends on the subject what you are choosing, which institute you want to go in. So if you choose just plain molecular biology, you might get in any basic science institute which is very famous like Ivy Leagues, where you don't want or you don't need to work with like patient samples or do a translational research. So yeah, it depends on the topic which you choose. Yeah.
Okay. Um, when you are looking for pursuing PhD abroad, abroad,
Yeah.
does it hold a benefit over PhD in India? Like, what are the differences? What are good things about it, and what are bad things about it?
So definitely you have a lot of benefits. Like you don't need to have your own grant. You are fully funded. You don't need to pay your fees or anything. I have a fully funded course where all of my subjects, whatever subjects I take to study, are funded by my professor and by my education. I don't need to pay anything. They pay my health insurance. They give me enough stipend that I can survive, and I can also like manage or save enough money that I can like survive very well. That is the good thing. Another good thing is you can attend various international conferences, and they are also supported by your professors. You don't need to pay for that conferences. It can be anywhere. It can be in Europe. It can be in Australia. I can even come to India for a conference. Yeah, so it is funded by my PI or my professor. I don't need to pay for anything else. You can say bad thing, I won't say bad thing, but you need to stay alone. You have to be far from your family. You
Mhm.
have to do all of your work on your own. There is not your mom who will cook for you or wash your clothes or do things for you. You have to be like, you have to sort everything out. You have to go and do your grocery shoppings. You have to like literally make a timetable and adjust your time, because you want to give dedicated hours to your college as well. You want to have a work life balance. So yeah, there are, you can't say that this has bad things. It will help you further in developing as a person, which I have like experienced in 1 year. Like I feel I have developed a lot as a person. I have become way too independent compared to what I was in India, because in India you have your parents to support. You have everything. Here you have to manage your money, you have to manage your insurances, you have to pay your taxes, you have to go to banks and do all of your work. So yeah, and benefits, you definitely have a lot of benefits. And yeah, you get really good pay over here comparatively to industry less. But obvious, if you are doing masters and going to industry, you will earn more compared to what you are earning right now in a PhD stipend. But yeah, you earn well enough. And you get a lot of exposures and collaborations. Here we have collaboration with Stanford, we have collaboration with Harvard, we have internal collaborations. So we have really good collaborations over here. And here we work as team science rather than working as individual. So like MDs collaborate with the PhDs, and we have more collaboration with people who are working in the society for the people. Like we have racial disparity things where your African American don't get equal opportunities as Americans. So we have various people who look over that. So we have that kind of collaborations, and we have like team science projects over here.
Yes, very correct. Parth, will you like to go over with India? Like, what's good about here and what's bad about here?
The highlighting point when you ask this question with respect to doing PhD in India, the
Yeah.
one straight away answer that you would get from a research scholar doing PhD is that you don't get fellowships on time. So that's
Okay.
one of the biggest drawback of pursuing PhD in India, because after all, it's Indian government who is going to give
Yes,
you
very
money,
good.
and they
Mm.
take their own amount of time for giving you the money that you deserve. So
Yes.
that is one of the drawback. But yeah, it is getting resolved to some extent. That yes, the transition from the government to the student account is getting very much transparent, and
Mm.
you get to track that fellowship that you are going to receive. Apart from that, yeah, benefit, the drawbacks that you have in doing PhD abroad are the advantages of doing that in India,
Yes,
and
very correct.
the
Mm.
drawbacks over here are the advantages that you get in abroad. So yeah, it's vice
Yes.
versa.
Yeah, ultimately, it is what weighs you down, what you think is
Yeah, yeah.
is more.
What you think is the best for you,
Yes.
and it will serve you the best.
Yes.
Yeah, like for example, why I chose doing it abroad, because in India there are not many labs or institute who do cancer, and I was very interested in working on
Mhm.
cancer. And here we have like tons of opportunities for it. So yeah, that's why I planned and came here to do my research.
Yes, yes, very correct. If you could go back in time, what would you want yourself to do differently, and how would you insist our students on doing that?
Uh, there isn't much that I would like to change or do thing differently, because eventually I realized after reaching at this stage is that whatever I did was in a way helping me shaping the way who I am right now. So at that moment of time, you don't realize what you are doing, but then after a certain point of time, do realize that I did this and this helped me a lot. And this is going to be experienced n number of times while you do this program PhD program. So apart from that, one thing that I would like to do differently is getting aware of the opportunities that we get during our BSc and MSc level, because uh, after transitioning from 11th and 12th standard getting into a BSc program, uh, the mindset that we are into doesn't allow us to explore more opportunities or look at good opportunities or better opportunities. So that is one thing that I would like to do differently, is getting myself more acquainted to opening my eyes towards a lot of opportunities which will help me in shaping my future ahead. So that is one thing that I would insist students in doing so.
I would add on, like, yeah, I don't regret stuff, but I feel that okay, I could have done things better, but it's okay if I have done it in that way. Still, I am at a good place and I can still do best. But what I will insist you guys is networking. That's the key thing in your life. If you don't network, then sorry to say, but you will be stuck at a point where you won't find opportunities. Which I realized after my masters, when I was stuck for 2 months. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm in COVID phase. I can't go and interview in person. I'm just sending my CVs to people, and that's the thing. So whenever you go to any kind of conferences or meetups or normal fest, if you go, it's not like a very big conference or something, normal fest like happening in the college around you, you should go talk with people, like talk with the professors, talk with the students around, build networks, which will help you out really in life ahead, because that's a key goal. You can literally find jobs while building networks. They will just come and say you, okay, hey, we have position opening for this thing. I feel you are really good candidate for that, and you might get a job in that way. And apart from that, I would say critically reading the literature. The thing which I did wrong while my bachelor's was I used to accept whatever written in the paper as a fact, that it is correct, it is not wrong. But after learning till this point, I have realized things written in the paper are not always correct. There are things which are not accurate. You can do it in much better way. So there are things which you need to critically analyze and not think that papers are the gold standard and that is the only thing written. It's like written and that is the only thing which is right. You need to analyze, think whether their approach is right, whether that can there can be a better approach. This will also help you to build your own research project and think and figure out the gaps in the field. Yeah, so critically analyzing the literature and networking are the two major thing I would recommend the most.
Okay. Um, yes, one question I think the questionnaire absolutely misses is, and I would like to know is what is your personal journey? As in, okay, you finished your MSc and then what exam did you give? And then what did you apply for? क्या बना आपने किधर दिया फिर आपको कैसे call आया and you went for an interview, like the entire storyline to how you have reached where you are today. And
Maybe
like if our
Bhavisha, you can
students
start.
want to, follow the same path,
Yeah,
if they want to, get an idea to how to be
yeah,
there, so
right.
that.
Yeah, so I was in my bachelor's in microbiology. Then, while doing masters, I wanted to pursue masters in virology. I was very interested in virology and cancer; that they were my two best interests. But due to certain reasons, I was not able to get into virology. So I was like, okay, what other options do I have? Then I got to know about bioinformatics at Patkar College. I came, I met our professor. I think he's not continuing in Patkar right now, Professor Vyomesh Javle. He was over there. I talked with the teachers over in Patkar. They helped me out understanding what is bioinformatics. And I would say bioinformatics really made a huge difference in my life, because I got to know how to use tools, how to use databases, how to analyze your data, how to use different programming languages, which is very important while doing your research. Because if you have that all skills, you won't require an external biostatistician or bioinformatician to carry out all the data analysis for you. So masters helped me out a lot. And while doing my masters, I had aimed that okay, next I'm gonna pursue is cancer by hook or by crook. I want to pursue that in my life because I want to study that. So for that, I started my thesis, like I wanted to have kind of a bioinformatics thing as well as cancer thing. So I took two projects, although we need to do one thesis, but I was like, no, I'll do two theses. One was with group, one was just individually. So one project was building a database, which I did with University of Mumbai, which was a group project, and other project which I did was working with cervical cancer, which was caused by HPV-16 virus. So that overall led me into cancer biology more. I learned a lot of things which I wasn't aware about, and further. Uh, I had gotten an admission in 2020, but due to COVID, my admission got deferred. And I was like, okay, I have a gap year in my life, and I never had a gap year in my life. So that was kind of demotivating. But I was like, okay, let's join industry and try. Like, I have few months in my hands. Let's just try and see what industry offers. If I would in future love to work in industry after pursuing masters or PhD or anything. So I worked in TCS for quite a few months, I think 4 months, and I I developed really good personality skills over there. But yeah, I didn't enjoy the work much because it's the same job which you do over and over again. It would be minor changes, but basic things would be same. And I'm not such kind of a person who would enjoy doing that. I like to think and I like to like analyze stuff and think every day something new. So yeah, so further then I came here at Roswell to do masters, and during the first month I just joined the lab. I was like, I want to learn how to normally like culture human cells. I have just worked with microorganisms, and in bioinformatics I had lost the touch with lab as well completely. So I just joined the lab, and I worked in the lab for 3 months, and then I realized that I can directly apply for a PhD program. I don't need to complete my masters. So I took like really 1 month to write a very good SOP to get the LORs from all the teachers in Patkar. Like I would thank Anu ma'am, I would thank Shweta ma'am, Rohini ma'am, everyone, Yomesh sir, who supported me a lot, who wrote LORs for me. Although I was in US, they wrote it for me. They sent it over here, and also my professors at Roswell who wrote LORs for me because I worked in their lab for 3 months, and then I submitted over here, and in by February, I heard back that I got into it, and then I had an interview round which I cleared, and then I started like working. I joined another lab because sadly my older PI left and joined an industry, so I had to change the lab. I joined another lab, and right now I'm working in that lab, and I'm quite happy. And from August, I'll be a second year PhD student. Yeah, so I'm very happy with my research. I would just say one thing about choosing your PI is you shouldn't go back to one project. You shouldn't be like, okay, I want to just work on this project if the PI is not good enough. If you know you can't develop a good mentor-mentee relationship between with you and that PI, you shouldn't go behind that project. You should see and select a mentor which would understand you, which you are easy, means which you find whom you find easy to talk with, who will be like, okay, you need one week vacation, you can take 1 week, come back, refresh again. If you want such kind of person, you can choose such kind of PI. If you want the person who would sit on your head and you would be like, okay, do work, otherwise you won't work, you can choose such kind of PI. So choosing the PI is the most important thing when you join a PhD. Topic comes secondary, but mentor comes first. Yeah. So this is my life journey. It's not that great, but I hope in future it would be great.
How did you apply for your university?
Okay, so I had a advisor with whom I decided which colleges I would apply in, which
Mhm.
colleges are good enough, and Roswell is 12th from US in cancer, so that is a very good college. And I had applied for both
Mhm.
Canada and US, but then I didn't carried on with the part of Canada because there you
Mhm.
won't get the chance of lab rotations. Like you cannot work in two or three different lab and then decide where you want to work. But in
Okay.
US, you get that benefit that you can work in 3 to 4 different labs for 1 or 2 months period of time, and
Mhm.
then you can decide, okay, I want to work in this particular lab. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Parth.
Yeah, so frankly speaking, I got into microbiology just because of my sister. I wanted to do MBBS. I
Mm.
strived for it but couldn't clear the NEET exam. So I just got into Patkar College because of my sister, because she filled up my form and I got into microbiology. So in the first year, I was just figuring it out that whether I liked it or not, and because of which I was struggling a bit. But then after the first year I started to getting interested in the microbiology subject. So in the third year, we did a small research project which turned out to be good, and we got selected to district level, which was very much encouraging to me. And that's when I realized that yes, this is one of the things that I didn't assume that I would pursue, but then yes, I'm interested in this. So I went ahead doing masters in the field of microbiology. So I chose Ruya College because I was very much determined that I won't be going abroad. So I pursued masters in India itself. So I chose Ruya College, and in the MSc, during my MSc, I was very much focused into research because the kind of environment that I got over there was very much encouraging for research students. So because we had a very small semester, for example, in masters you have 4 semesters, out of which in RIA we had 1 semester dedicated to internship or doing an internship anywhere in the research institute you like. So from there I applied to Professor Rajesh Patkar, who is my PhD guide. So I went ahead to go to Gujarat. I did my internship for a period of 4 months in his lab. That's when I got to realize that yes, this is the thing that I was looking for in my life, and this is the thing that will give me happiness in my future as well. So once I did over there, now there's a catch that you when you do such kind of internships to different labs, you as what Bhavisha mentioned, that connecting with different people will definitely help. During my internship, I got to know about his lab, his work of area, and since I did a pretty good job over there, and he also thought that yes, I did a good job, because of which he asked me that whether I would like to have further interaction with him. So yeah, I said yes, and I joined his lab as a project associate. Further, which when I was working on that project, we transitioned into IIT. We got transferred to IIT, and then I thought that now it's the time that I should apply for a PhD program, because
Mhm.
that's when I realized that research is definitely my cup of tea. And then I applied to IIT. I gave my entrance exam, which is ICMR entrance exam. I cleared that off because one of the key thing to get into IIT is having a national entrance test. And so I cleared my ICMR, got a GRF fellowship, and then I applied for IIT. For the which I had to write an SOP, which is important, and then having a interview round which you need to clear, where different professors would interview you based on your research intellectual basically, and not on the basis of what you did or what you didn't not, and all these things come secondary, but then your research attitude comes first, whether you are fit to do research or not. So we are judged majorly on that basis, and then it's a good thing that you get into your lab that you like and the project you want to pursue. So that's how I got into IIT, and yeah, now I'm doing great. Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop with my questions, and basically, I think my kids have a lot of questions for you. Uh, so let my session is finished now. Any student who has a question can either turn on their mics and ask to them directly, or you can put it in the chat box if that is comfortable. Please mention who to whom the question is addressed to, whether it is Parth or Bhavish or both of them. Okay, so we'll open the session for questions. Anybody who is interested in asking, I think they're going to take questions from you.
Can I go?
Yeah, yeah.
Good morning. It's good evening, sorry. I want to ask Bhavisha ma'am that in US, the PhDs are full-time or part-time? And how exactly, like, complete them? And what do you suggest?
Sorry, I'm not getting your voice clearly.
Is it okay if I type my question in the
Yeah,
chat?
yeah, sure. You can go ahead and type it. It's fine.
Yeah, till that time, if anybody else has a
We
question.
have been into these places and it feels a lot awkward to ask
Yeah.
questions at
So
this
Yes,
point. So
yes,
we
well,
completely understand. But then
they
please
all have
feel free.
questions. They all have questions,
Yeah.
but to get that guts to ask
Yes.
is what
Yes.
they have to master up.
yeah, I would say if you guys want, I can just share my email ID. Feel free to email me and ask literally basic questions. You can ask stupid questions because I used to ask my professors stupid questions and irritate them. My professors know it, my classmates know it. They would be like, just go and shut your mouth and just go later, ask the questions. But you can definitely ask me questions. That's the most important point. I'll share my email ID on the chat box so you can email me and ask questions if you feel weird, shy, or awkward here.
We do have some questions.
Yeah,
Yash, give me a second. Rushali, can you type in the entire thing? Like, what do you suggest? We could not hear the entire part of the question. तो पूरा क्वेश्चन एक ही में टाइप करें so that we can. अच्छा, okay. I think she's asking part-time PhD and full-time PhD. What do you suggest, which is better option out of it?
I think full time PhD is the best thing you can go for because there is no such thing you can do as part time PhD because you have to dedicate not only 7 or 8 hours of your day, you have to dedicate your whole day, basically, say, whole 5 years thinking about your project and developing your project. It would be way too difficult for me to think, okay, I'll do a part time PhD because that's theoretically and practically not possible.
Also, with
Yeah.
respect to India, there are some institutes where part-time PhD is not an option because there is no such thing called as part-time PhD. There are very few who work in collaboration with industries. Are they serve them as external students? So when you get into PhD as an external student, where you get to work between both industry as well as the institute, so that's where the sort of taste or a flavor of part-time PhD comes. But then it is definitely a full-time PhD course that is available.
Okay, we have a question from Yash who says pursuing PhD from private university in India, is it good?
Uh, so, with respect to private university, it is good till the point that you're getting what you want. Because, with respect to government institutes, the advantage is that it has been established, first thing. And the second most important thing is that you would have continuous funding from central government as well. So it won't be like that your institute has lack of funds because of which the facilities that you are getting will be getting stopped at any point of time. Because having facilities is not the only thing. You need to maintain those instruments. You need continuously uh, 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 make those instruments be work in a working condition. So for that you need funds. So being in a government institute will help you because your central government, the government will finally give you funds for that. Or with respect to private university, as long as you're getting everything, you're getting your uh, choice of subject, you're in a good lab, you have a good PI, doing PhD from private is not an problem. Yeah, completely. You can go.
Okay, let's see. More questions, please put questions, students. I thought we were going to sit till 6 o'clock. Yeah, so we have Debo Shruti who wants to ask a question. Yes, go ahead.
Hello, good evening. So I wanted to ask, what is expected of you by the end of your graduation? Because at this point of time, honestly, I feel like I'm just mugging up things and giving tests, and so that that is just what I wanted to know. Like when you're entering into a master's program, what do they expect of you? And even entering into I mean, what are the things that I should be aware of? So that's it.
Would you like to go first, Bhavisha?
Yeah, okay, I'll first say stop mugging up things because that's the not the good way to going forward in your life. You should understand the concept and write the answers according to the concept, conceptually, not just rectifying or mugging up things. Because if you don't leave that attitude, it would be very difficult to cope up in masters because you have very intense study kind of set of things where you won't have like few things to study. You would have tons of things to study along with doing a research. So yeah, you have to stop the idea of like just rectifying or mugging up concept. You should know why the concept is in first place, what is the meaning behind that concept, and how are the further things built on that concept. So basics should be very clear, which will further help you to create to understand in your masters all the coursework very well. Yeah.
So yeah, in bachelor's, what you really need to focus upon is knowing your subject well, because in masters it is mastering your subject. That's what masters means. So after your masters, you are going to be said as you are master in microbiology. That means you need to have your basics clear. Bachelor life is a bachelor life. You need to explore things, you need to understand things at the first place. After you understand those things, applying them becomes very easy. So as Bhavisha mentioned, you need to understand the concept. Yes, we do agree that having said all of this doesn't implement whenever you like to, because it will take some time, because in 11th and 12th standard we are used to mugging up things. We
Yeah.
give exams just to pass, and that's the only purpose that we have. But having after coming to bachelor's and doing masters, it is very much important to transition ourselves, because once the degree gets transitioned, you should also transition yourself into that kind of environment. So yeah, getting concepts, basic
Clear.
understanding, everything will help you. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, I think somebody else was also going to ask before I interrupt you.
Ma'am, me, Amit.
Yes, Amit, please go forward.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm really sorry I was late for the session, but ma'am, no, I'm studying a master in bioinformatics, and the Bhavisha ma'am is the alumni of the us in the same the Patkar College. So pursuing the PhD in the India is the more advantageous as compared to the foreign, or the foreign studying the PhD in India is like, should I study the PhD or do the PhD work in India or the abroad for that? And the for the path, sir, I like IIT is the major field, but I was not the stuff. I was not from the starting. So, what is the topic you are doing in the PhD work?
Okay, I'll first go. It's not pursuing PhD abroad. It's the topic which you want to pursue. If you have enough amount of things available in India itself, you can definitely go forward and do it in India. Unfortunately, in India, cancer is not that developed field that I would have masters in cancer science or PhD in cancer science. We have, I think, one only prominently known institute, which is Attract. And apart from that, we don't have many prominent cancer institutes. So I came to US. Otherwise, I didn't had like any kind of thing that okay, I just want to study in US, so I'm going to US for pursuing PhD. Or India doesn't have a good PhD system. It's not like that. It depends on what you want, like what you want and where you want it from. Then it comes when you want it, where you want it from. So bioinformatics is right now really good field, and I would definitely suggest that you should put in your extra efforts for bioinformatics, because although teachers teaches, but bioinformatics is basically working on your own. Just take the data from various database, try to analyze it, explore it. You have various different coding things which they teach you C, C++, Java, RStudio is the major thing I would recommend. RStudio and Python, if you know to work with it, then you are set with doing good research, good in silico research at least. So yeah, it depends totally on the topic which you are interested in and where it is available for you. You can go forward with it.
Yeah. So for your second question about topics that you have in IITs, so yeah, one of the thing that it is quite not established yet is that IITs do have biological science, because when you hear IIT, it's more about getting engineering, getting into engineering stuff. But then you also have biological science, which is very much well established in all the not all the IITs, but some of the IITs they have biological science as well. So here the topics ranges from right from cancer to basic microbiology to neuroscience to even microfluidics. So you have north, south, east, west, all the breadths of the subjects that you can think of in IITs, because you get professors from all around the globe over here, and you have a lot of things to choose from. So it depends on your interest. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Yes, we have a question from Devoshruti. She's asking, how did you develop your preference towards your subject? Did you know from early on? Did it take time? Do you have to look into a lot of things before finding it out?
Okay, I would go for this. I developed interest in cancer science. I would like say thanks to one of our professor, Dr. Miss Yuganka ma'am. I'm just used to calling doctor people here, so I'm just using that title again and again. Sorry for that. Yeah, Yuganka ma'am. She was for us in our first year of bachelor's, and she introduced me to cancer. Like I knew the term cancer, but the concept about cancer. And further, in my second year and third year, Anu ma'am was there to teach immunology. Shweta ma'am was there to teach genetics. Then Rohini ma'am was there who teached us how to design stuff, how to design experiments, what is the mechanisms and stuff. So then I dwelled more into the topic. In my master's, as I said, I did my thesis on the project which I was interested in. So yeah, it is encouragement provided by the teachers, but it is necessary from you to provide extra efforts which you need to put in and explore that whether you are seriously interested, like how Parth mentioned the thing about love and attraction. So are you just attracted towards the field, or you genuinely love that field and you want to just continue your career in that? Yeah.
Okay. Part?
So, as I mentioned that me coming into microbiology was just accidental. I was not at all looking for doing microbiology, but then somehow I got into. But then eventually it turned out the thing which I wanted to pursue. So yeah, it took some time for me to realize that this is my area of research that I would like to pursue ahead. But then eventually everything fell into place, and yeah, I'm quite enjoying the field. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more of your own
Exploratory and
journey.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of your own journey, it's part of your own experiences, your own stories that help you, develop love for something. And
yes,
that is how you know, okay, you love this and you have to do this. It is not somebody who can tell you or feed into you ki ye karo, ye karo, ye karo. It's
exactly,
something it is like falling in love. So you don't do it
exactly.
personally, it happens, right? So I think that is the answer to your question, Debashruti. Yes, we have other questions as well. Akansha is asking, what are job opportunities after doing masters in bioinformatics in the industry?
As far as job opportunities is concerned, it depends on you. What do you want to explore and do? Because you won't get a title as bioinformatician over here in India, at least for now. Because in US it's common, like bioinformatician is a position and title. In India, it's still growing kind of a field. So you can explore and venture around to see the things you are interested in. If you are interested more into the coding side of the field, then you can go and like have IT jobs, IT side of jobs, which are like biological, like you have to create a database, you have to manage a database, stuff like that. But if you are more interested to do research, then you can apply for R&Ds. If you have really good thesis, then R&Ds department do take bioinformatician who have just completed their masters, and you help them to design in silico experiments, because designing experiment is the major factor comes when it comes to do the whole research. Because if your design is not good, then doing practically that research won't be that good enough. It won't give you much better results. So it depends on you what you are interested in, because right now you won't get a position as such opened anywhere where they will say we require a bioinformatician. Yeah.
I would like to add one point that do not ignore the startups that you have, because getting into startups will really help you, because in those kind of environments you would be there would be very few people working for the startup. So in that place you will have a very important role as an overall regulator. So for example, you are not going to do a particular thing, you are going to do n number of things which will help you build yourself as a bioinformatician. So do not ignore startups because they have just started and you think that they won't be able to give you much, but then they will benefit you in shaping yourself as a bioinformatician, where you would like to uh, explore yourself also. So you get to explore yourself in which kind of environment you would be suitable to work into. So that's a good thing that you should also look up to startups. They will help you build much. Yeah.
We have a question from Devanshi who is addressed to Bhavisha. She's asking, did you apply abroad on your own or via an educational consultancy? Also, how was your university interview process like?
I went through the consultancy, and I would suggest consultancy because they give you much more clear idea about it. If you try to do it on your own, it's not bad, but you won't be able to understand some of the things which they are very good at. They will help you to format your SOPs, they will help you to format your LORs, they will help you to list out okay which colleges are good because they have their alumni. So I would definitely say you should, at least if not a consultancy, a advisor who will guide you the track, because it's not a easy journey to just go from India to abroad. It's a very big process. You will have multiple steps, you will have a lot of failures in that, you will get rejection letters, so you have to deal with that as well, and how to further proceed and contact them. And so yeah, it is a big process, so you should have an advisor. I won't say definitely a consultancy, a person who knows what you need to do for getting into universities abroad. So it can be your friend, it can be a advisor, it can be a consultancy, anything. And regarding the university interview process, it's like it depends on university to university. Some of the PIs, like there are some of the interviews which will have one-on-one interview with professors, so they will ask about your personal life as well as your research of interest, and because they need to know overall how is your personality and would you be a good fit for their lab. So I had a panel interview where I was being judged by five different people. One was bioinformatician, one was a course director, one was a professor from one of the track. Like I mentioned earlier, we have five different tracks in cancer science. So a representative from one track, a fifth year PhD student, and a postdoc. So we had a variety of people. So they had a n number of variety of questions which gave a multiple kind of flavor to the interview. And they just want to see how is your personality and what are your research goals and ideas, and would you be a good fit to be in the institute or in the lab. Yeah.
We have another question from the Shruti, addressing, I guess, both of you guys. She's asking, it's more of a personal question. She's asking, how do you learn to take the pressure and the competition and keep a steady mind or take care of your mental health? And how do you deal with an imposter syndrome?
Yeah, I'm going to get these things a lot. So the only motivation is you should enjoy what you are doing. The pressure is going to be there because with respect to PhD, it is very much important that you do not compare yourself with anyone, because the friends from your lab will be into a completely different field. For example, if you compare yourself with a dry lab to a wet lab, the kind of things that wet lab people will do is completely different from dry lab people. So in PhD, there is always comparison based on the number of publications that you get. So on the basis of the field which you are working in, that will depend on the publications that you get. So do not compare yourself, because that will lead to pressure. So that is one foremost thing that you shouldn't compare. It will take away 50% of the pressure that you are going to receive during your PhD. Another is that getting a stable mind or taking care about your mental health. Yes, PhD is quite a bit nerve-wracking because you need to do a lot of things. You need to get continuously updated about your field, because there is always a constant fear of your work getting scooped. By scooped, I mean that the thing that you're working on, someone might else would do that work, and then your topic is no more novel. So you need to be completely updated about your field of work. What all things things are upcoming in your field. You need to be constantly updated to that. So yeah, maintaining a good work-life balance is very much important, and it will help you because that will determine your mental health. And how do you deal with imposter syndrome? Uh, you can't. Basically, you'll have to get used to that, because you need to just convince yourself that it's not the thing that you're facing alone. There are a lot of people facing the same things, so you need to continuously convince yourself that you are on right track, what you are doing is right, and what you are doing is true to yourself. So just keep doing that.
Yeah, true. Like as Parth mentioned, See, there would always be a person who would be much better than you. It's always there in life. It's not that you are the best in the field. It's you will be best eventually in the field over the period of time where you would have a lot of experience. But right now, there would be every other person around you would be like best in one or the other things in life. But you need to keep yourself motivated, and you should take good things from that people. You should be like, okay, what things I can get from that person. If a person knows how to present well, take the tips from that person rather than getting competitive or jealous from that person. Go and be a friend. Take all the good qualities from each and every person. And regarding competition, I feel you should have competition with your own self. If you think that you have done certain things in particular amount of time, try doing that thing in less amount of time. You will make yourself efficient in that way. Otherwise, like, competition doesn't play much of a part, because I can give you the example of my lab works on bladder cancer and prostate cancer both. So I work on bladder cancer, my lab mate works on prostate cancer, so we can't compare our projects because it's like two different cancer, two different things. So it depends on your project, your topic. It's not comparable with anyone. It's comparable with your own research, with the paper you previously published and what you are publishing next. That is your competition. For example, you published in a journal which had impact factor of 3, so now you want to publish in a journal with an impact factor of 5. So the competition is with your own self, not with people around you. That is the major thing. And regarding steady mind, you should have your own me time. Like, there would be like 1 hour, nobody should disturb me, I'll do whatever I like. You should develop a hobby or take up some things. If you like cooking, if you like going somewhere, if you want to join a certain kind of classes, do music or anything, you should have your own personal me time. And at times when you feel that, okay, I am not able to think much, you should go and talk with your mentor, because they are the best person in your life after your parents. While doing your PhD, they will understand you. They will be a person who would be like, okay, I have also been through this, and you need to take time, take 2 days rest, don't think about work, just go and enjoy and come back with fresh ideas. So that's the way how to keep steady mind. And failures are the part of PhD, as we mentioned earlier. You should learn from your failures, take positive approach, and for positive things out of that. Do not get demotivated. Like, being positive is the most important thing while doing a PhD, I would say, other than anything. And yeah, about the imposter syndrome, you should believe in yourself, because you have achieved this much in your life, so you can further achieve more, and you will obviously achieve great. So just being positive is the best thing you can ever have.
Yes, very, very correct. Very true. You cannot help. It is what your mental state is. You have to, just cross it. Be there. You deserve it, and
Yeah.
keep believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, Devanshi is asking. It would be great if you share about your publications, if there are any.
um, I don't have as such. Like, one is currently going to get published in a journal. So as soon as it gets published, I can let you guys know. But it's still in the process. It's reviewed. It's accepted. And another one I'm currently writing. So I think in a month or two we are going to submit that particular paper. So as soon as it gets out.
Okay, we have one big question from Pranav. My question is to Bhavisha ma'am. From your LinkedIn profile, you're studying at University of Buffalo and working at Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center as well. I am aware that in US there are many universities that also have NIH funded research centers and hospitals of that university. So my question is, what's the differentiating part of research center and university? Like, getting admitted in the university as a student allows you to work as in a research center, or that research center for already accomplished scientists? Okay, we'll break this down. I
Okay.
think the first
Okay.
question is,
Yes,
I
it's
understood what you're trying to say. So basically, a research center is affiliated with university. So I applied at University of Buffalo, but I knew this is a complete different research center which is affiliated with it. So although I have gotten admitted to University of Buffalo, but I would be working at Roswell Park. And here, almost all the research center, big research centers, like well-named, renowned research centers, are NIH funded. They have very big NIH funded grants. Like recently, this year we had like some $76 million grants overall for Roswell. So we have efficient professors who literally write 2 to 3 different grants. there are various different types of grants, not only NIH, there is RO1 funded grants and etc. So the professor's job is to just write grant, get money, and have good funds for their students. So we don't need to write grants, but we also can write grants. But as an international student, I have like one or two opportunity to write a grant and get external funding. But if you are a student in US or your own particular country, you have n number of options for that external funding as well. So yeah, it depends like how affiliated your institute is with the university.
Okay, so the research center is for students and scientists both. This
Yeah.
is again part of the question. Yes.
Yeah, so it is basically, you can say, for postdocs, not for scientists as per se, because the professors are basically the scientists over there in academia. So professors have their own labs, and we get the samples from patients itself. Like we have the hospital right across the street, we can see it from our lab windows, and we get the samples from the hospitals. Like we get the tumor tissue samples, we get the blood work, we get every detailed information about the patient, and then we carry out our own translational work, and then we do run clinical trials. Like Roswell has a lot of clinical trials going on with the patients, and we have like clinical trials going on for colorectal cancer, for prostate cancer, etc. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Any more questions?
So in India also there are research institutes and there are universities. So research institutes are basically where you don't have academia. So there are no students studying in that center. In research center, it is purely the PhD students, the guides, and various professors doing research. There is no academia role of academia in that center. But universities are things where the professors are also teaching the students. You also have curriculums and everything, and you have PhD students under them who are working for the research. So there, the professors get to do both as a teaching also as well as doing research as well.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
correct. Yes. Any more questions? Any more direct questions? Anything in the chat box?
Even I'll have my email ID in the chat box. So if you have any queries, you can definitely reach out.
Feel free to contact us, it's fine, we'll answer, if not instantly, within a day or two, like because
Yeah.
we have a number of stuff going on. So we'll definitely try to answer as soon as possible. But I'd say it's a good opportunity to start building connections, because as I said earlier, connections are everything in life. Networking is the best part to achieve everything.
Um, yes. Is that it? You have any more questions? Okay. We have somebody who has raised. Okay. Debushruti?
Hello. So I do understand that grades do matter at the end of the day. But from your experience, what would you say that hard work and perseverance and smart work, would you, if you compare that with just innate intelligence, which one would you think has a greater chance at if not succeeding, but like having found their ground in PhD or in research in the whole field?
So I'll give you an example from my lab itself. So earlier, when I was not a part of this lab, one of my guide was looking for a project associate on a project. She would be working on a project. So the interview sessions were happening. There were people who had entrance exams cleared, for example, very much valuable CSIR exam getting cleared, and they had all had applied. And there were few students who had not any exams in their CV, or they haven't cleared any of the national entrance test. So those people also applied. So when my guide was taking an interview for the best candidate, you would be surprised to see that my guide selected a student who had no exam cleared, but at that moment of time, the interview given by that student was the best out of everyone. So he chose this student over the students who had cleared all the national entrance tests and had great scores and everything. But then what matters is that how do you give your interview at that moment of time. That 2-3 minutes of your life becomes the deciding factor whether you are going to get accepted or not. because if you have, even if you have good grades, great amount of work, great amount of research experience and everything, but if you mess up in that 2 3 minutes of your life, you are not going to land up in a good place. So what matters is that you should have that uh, encouragement, you should have that curiosity, you should have that love for what you are doing. That will help you land up in that area. So don't worry about your grades, because after all, people won't be looking for grades, they will be looking for person who will give respect to that subject, give respect to that work, and do that work in a much better way than any other person.
Yeah. Like I would add on with this, like part said is it's absolutely correct, and what you said about smart work and hard work, I'll say they both play a role hand in hand. If you are not smart enough, you would be, although you will be doing hard work, you won't achieve anything. But if you are smart but you are very lazy, you don't want to work, that would also not land you at any place. So you would need both hand in hand. You need to know how to work smartly and efficiently. And like for example, you can design a work which you will need 10 hours, but you can smartly design it in a way that you can complete it within 6 hours by doing multiple works simultaneously. So it's like both plays hand in hand, and you need to be smart as well as hardworking. You can't be lazy and be like, oh, I'm smart, I'm not going to do a lot of work. I'm just because I'm smart the things will work. Like for me it's not the thing.
Also, the question is not what you know. Are you willing to know is the right question.
Yeah,
Are
true.
you ready to learn things or not? That's what everyone, whether it is industry or research, is looking for. Are you ready to get trained, or are you ready to get learn or not? That's the question, and that's where you should shine.
Yeah, true.
Thank you very much.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, it's already 6. I think we'll just wrap up this session for today. Uh, okay, I'll wrap just this very small vote of thanks for everybody. Firstly, I would thank our alumni for giving such valuable time out of their busy schedules and helping us gain more insight about the research field. Okay, and thank you for being available even though it may be a holiday. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants for the active participation. And with this very small note, I would like to end today's Roboroo session. If there's still any more questions, you can send it to me, or you can tell me during lectures, and then I can pass it to them. Or they've also put up their mail IDs. You can directly connect to them as well. Uh, I hope it was a good experience for all of you guys, and thank you so very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us.
It was a great
It is,
honor.
yeah, it was a great honor, and we really enjoyed having called upon by our college and giving briefing of our experience to the students, reaching out to them. So thanks a lot for having us and giving us this opportunity to share our experience.
Yeah, like it's a really good opportunity. Like the feeling is really good that okay, you were alumni of this particular department, and now you are helping the people who are just in the department. So you could know what you could further achieve in your life and what you are interested in. And I'll just say, be motivated, stay positive. It's okay. You will have downsides in your life. You will achieve everything if you have good mindset, positive mindset. Keep working hard and also smartly. Yeah.
Yes, everybody, I'll declare that the session is closed and people are okay to leave. If you still have questions, we can still wait for 5 minutes and then ask Bhavish or Par. If not, people are free to leave.
Ma'am,
Yes, Amin.
uh, Bhavishka, ma'am, I'm pursuing the masters. I've already told you, but you have told me like to go to the research site and web database and search, but without knowing anything, like without knowing the protein structure, what should I search and analyze on those
For
data sets
that,
and
you
database?
should first go and read the literature. Studying the literature is the major thing. So you should know the literature. You should go to NCBI, read a lot of papers, know a lot of about your protein. You should go to PDB, know what is your protein structure, what are the motifs in it. Then look on for the PDB. Then look on for the proteins which can have ligand interaction and stuff. So first, accessing the literature is the major part. If you are not clear about the literature, then there's no point, like, because you would have setback in first or the second step or during your final step. Yeah, so literature is important.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, so even if the questions are technical, we are free to,
Yeah,
we are approachable. So if you
yeah,
have technical question, don't worry, you can definitely ask.
Ma'am,
yeah,
like I'm interested in doing the drug designing and modeling in the like in the upcoming research works. So
yeah.
are there any courses in the master programs or the PhD programs or any type of the courses they are running for this type of the courses like drug design and modeling?
You are in which year of your masters right now?
Second year.
Okay, no, because in my second year I had like Autodoc Vina and everything where we were taught about how to do drug designing, like the basics we were guided about. Everything won't be spoon feeded. You need to think, you need to read literature, you need to know which softwares can be utilized, and then you can talk with your professors about it. You can talk with your guide about it, and you would know about it further. Like I also did drug designing as a part of my thesis work, and for that I had literally curated literature for 2 whole months. I was studying about all the things which is done in that particular field, what all are the current medications which are given, what are the pitfalls of it, so what I need to do new which will help to like fill the gap in the knowledge and overcome this pitfall. So reading the literature, accessing the literature will also provide you softwares, provide you pathways of how to approach your work. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, Devanshi.
Hello, hi everybody. So my question, it's not really a question, it's like what would be an advice that you would give to students that are pursuing the bachelor's right now? Because there are many students right now that are attending who are in their third year as well. And some of us are like me, are very indecisive of what is to be done in the future. Because when I really think of something, to pursue in masters, there's no specific idea. Like Bhavisha, ma'am, you had that idea. Like you always wanted to go for cancer. I don't really have that idea. Like I like almost every subject that has been taught. So I want, an insight. What is that advice that you would give to uh, a junior or a person who is still in their graduation phase? Because masters are baki hai, and choosing masters and how to go about the whole process, because we are in our TYs and it's high time we start thinking about the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
I would
the whole.
say, either you can go as whole microbiology as a field in masters if you are not sure, specifically if you are interested in immunology or genetics or anything as such, particularly going as a whole in masters in microbiology will help you further, because there you will have much more better idea about the concepts, and then you will be like, okay, I love this particular field more or this particular section more in my whole master, so I will pursue ahead it further. So that is the thing. And if you right now have the whole subject, like I love biochemistry, I love genetics, so you can have masters in those particular subject, that would help you out. Or other things are like it based on you, it's based on your decision what you want to pursue in your life.
So if you are not sure about what you want to pursue, just as Bhavisha mentioned, just keep it broad, because if you narrow down, you will lose out from more and more options that you could have ahead. So if you are doing your bachelor's and you are not yet sure about what do you want to pursue, just keep your master's as the same degree, because eventually it will have the same things. So then you would walk down and narrow down the areas of your specialization or your area of interest. So keep it broad till the time you don't narrow it down to one.
Exactly, that was like, thank you for that. And that is a, it is a huge confusion that is being created right now, because I don't want to miss out on something. The whole
fear of missing out on something just by going into some narrow stream that
Correct.
makes me scared. That what if at last I feel that that would have been a better option. So that
So
makes a lot of sense.
even if you look at the advertisements, there
Right.
are some advertisements where you have that or eligibility criteria would be MSc in microbiology, and then there would be also one of the point that even if you have done masters in life science, you are welcome. So that is always an option in those advertisements, that if even if you have a very broad field masters, you are eligible to apply because you have that basic knowledge that they require. So keeping it broad always helps in those kind
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah, like you can further pursue bioinformatics or microbiology or anything, because I would say bioinformatics is something which will help you to go in any field which you want, because it teaches you how to do work in silico. Basically, it's not teaching you okay how to focus on microbiology or how to focus on biotechnology or biochem or anything. It's a very broad field. So either go for life science or whole microbiology as a subject, or biotechnology as a subject, or you can pursue bioinformatics. Any of them is a good option.
Okay. So I think we'll stop here.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
for the questions, as soon as the students send me, I'll direct it towards you.
yeah,
Okay. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye bye. Have a good day.